I'm not gonna go in any particular order. I'm gonna do my best to keep some sort of a good timeline. They're not just stories, right? They're things that I've been through in my past to kind of help me with the shit that I go through today. You know, I lived that lifestyle, prison, gangs, and all the other bullshit, right? I came through the other side with a good head on my shoulders. I got a fucking tremendous amount of flaws. Personally, I've always been able to see things a little bit differently. You know, I remember we went to the mall, right? These guys hit us up. Now, if you're from my era, dude, anywhere you went, you'd get hit up. I grew up in Fallbrook, California, and there's no movie theater out there. Anyhow, we go to the mall, me, two other guys, and all it is just a bunch of gang members. Guys from these three dudes were walking around back and forth, obviously looking for problems. The individual that I was with did not say anything to these guys. I mean, there was three of us and there was three of them. These guys were walking around like Billy Badasses. We're walking around the same way. But again, nobody said anything to each other. Lo and behold, maybe an hour later, you know, all kinds of our homeboys just show up at the mall. Like there was 10 of them. Well, guess what? Feeling hard as fuck. Here comes those same three people. One of the individuals I was with went up to those guys and was like mad dogging them and saying a bunch of shit. They didn't back down either. And I was thinking in my head like, damn, bro, like that's weird that he didn't say anything when it was 3-on-3. So little things like that I kind of noticed when I was really young, right? You know, I've been put in fucked up situations too, but I always did my best to kind of hold my integrity. I wasn't the gang leader. A lot of guys can get away with saying shit like that, right? Because we're in social media, no one's gonna say nothing. If you do, they're probably gonna fucking sue your ass. Validation, guys. When we were growing up, that's how we got our validation. That's how people knew who we were, by the things we did. I wanted people to know who I was, and I wanted them to know that I was, you know, down for my neighborhood and for what I believed in, right? That's it. My mom loved me, you know. I had a pretty good upbringing, but I knew I had a home to go to. I knew I had clothes, money for school, you know, I had food. I had that, you know, but I wanted something else, right? I needed that validation. That's why I got into all this shit, right? I'm an only child, no fucking friends. I remember the first fucking day I got jumped into a gang, this little white kid went up to me and he's like, hey man, you know, you joined the VFLs? And I was like, yeah. So right away, I was like, wow, that's all I needed to do? If you're an only child, right, you know what I'm talking about. There are certain crimes that I've committed. I did them just to say I did it. And I knew kind of when I wanted to walk away, because I didn't want to get too much into it. I sold drugs just like everybody else, like most of you, that I've done it, right? All the money I got or my proceeds, you know, they just went to buying more beer, buying some clothes from the indoor swap meet, buying some CDs, tapes, whatever, right? But all that shit was just to say I did it, period. Penguin sells drugs, or wow, Penguin did this, or wow, Penguin did that. And you just kind of build up that reputation. I knew that the stuff I was doing, I didn't have to do it forever. On my chest here, I have a tattoo that says, I shall finish the game. Just like my prison lifestyle, I had a saying for myself. This was at fucking 18, 19 years old. I knew I wanted to get that tattoo. And for me, the whole meaning behind it was, I went in a gang member, I'm going to come out a fucking gang member. Period. But one thing I was gonna do was, when I get out, when I knew when I was gonna parole, I'm done. You know, so if something happens, I don't speak up on anything, but I'm very proud of where I came from. Fuck yeah, 100%. You know, looking for that validation, it kind of eventually led me, you know, I wanted to go to prison. I wanted to go to juvenile hall. I wanted to You know, those were steps that I felt like you had to do in order to. You can't be a gang member and not fucking do certain things. If you're a gang member, man, there's some bare minimums there, right? At least, right? You just can't go to school and, you know, put on a Pendleton and fucking some Converse and say you're a gangster. You can't. A lot of people did that. But I feel there was a bare minimum that you had to do in order to call yourself that. I kind of want to talk about kind of like my introduction to prison, right? The setup, right? This is, you know, here we go. Pulling into prison. Coming from Donovan, they sent me up north. I was chained to another little homie from Indio. Me and him are the same age. Fucking couldn't have happened any better, right? So it was about a 10-hour bus ride. And I don't know if you've ever been shackled for 10 hours. Some of you guys been, you know, going up to the Bay and all that, those far ass fucking prisons. Sucks. Fucking shackled, trying to eat a peanut butter and jelly. Fucking don't even try to use the bathroom because you fucking, damn, sucks. Going to prison, I'm shackled to this fool and we're talking, right? We're like, fuck man, what is it gonna be like? And I had goals, right? Same thing, going back to the validation. Me personally, my goals were as soon as I hit the yard, I'm gonna stab the first person, the first enemy I see, and then I'm gonna put, you know, a certain tattoo on me to kind of let everyone know, hey, look what I did. I'm not gonna get too political, because I know people are gonna see this video, people, you know, from the north to the south to black to white to everyone. So I'm not gonna put anyone down or any races, because in prison we all had a goal, right? We had enemies and we dealt with them. If you're from the opposing team, you think the same way. There's no problem with that. We're adults now. So I'm gonna try not to get too this guy or that guy. This was my goal. This was his goal. So like, dude, there was things that I wanted to do as soon as I fucking started my time. I was looking forward to it. I always wonder whatever happened to that dude, but he had 10 years, they gave me 8. So he had a little more time than I did. Anyhow, we went to different yards. Rolling up to the yard, lo and behold, I see one of my homies there. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, we're a small neighborhood. But I will say this, we are a respected neighborhood. Period. Anyhow, he's on the yard and he was a pretty popular dude. So, guess what? Lucky me, right? There's a lot of individuals that you're gonna hear me talk about, and dude, I'm telling you, man, a lot of it's luck. The people that you could meet anybody on that first couple weeks on the yard, right? Depending on who you meet, right? That could possibly dictate the rest of your life. Because remember, right, we don't know too much. Back when I was growing up, if you had a mustache and some tattoos, fool, you were a super gangster, right? What I was led to kind of see was, I mean, yeah, we all had enemies, but it wasn't, you know, maybe it was back in the 80s or something, but you didn't just roll up and fucking stab someone as soon as you fucking hit the scene, right? Now, if something happened, that's a different story. But again, this is what I was picturing. This is what I wanted. And it really wasn't like that, you know, just getting schooled in the right way. This individual obviously being one of them, the fact that he was a well-liked individual kind of put me a little bit higher, right? Than if somebody came and I had no friends or nobody on the yard, right? I had someone who was somewhat special, and it kind of moved me up the ladder kind of right away. Because some people who have to start at the bottom, fuck, man. And it's not like you start from the bottom, but when you don't know anybody, you meet one dude, it's a slow process. You happen to know someone who's kind of popular, then you meet people right away, or someone who kind of knows the ropes, right? He can show you everything right away, right? Because it's a big fucking adjustment. But I think for anyone who grew up in that lifestyle, it's not that hard to make that adjustment, because we just gotta focus our efforts on something a little bit different. So it's not that big of an adjustment for us. I've done a lot of time, and you can talk to so many people, and I could have been on the same yard. I kind of just fast forwarded it right now a little bit, right? This is very important. The yard I was on, I was there for about 4 years. So you can talk to someone who is on that same yard as me, and my prison was different than his prison. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, it just depends on who you talk to, of what type of experience it was. You can hear two different kind of stories, man. You know, the way I seen it, the way I see prison, period, point blank, it's a bunch of dudes who just want to go home, for the most part. You got those fucking killers who want to spend the rest of their lives there, but you know what? Most of us are just sitting there, drinking coffee, playing pinochle, and we're trying to make the best of it. So you have no choice but to sit down with killers and gangsters and God knows what else kind of criminals there are out there, and make friends with these people, right? And again, at the end of the day, that's all it is. We're sitting around fucking playing cards, waiting to go home, or waiting for a riot or some other bullshit to kind of mess up our program. But that's all it is. It's not fucking, and this is something I'll stand by, it's not fucking slicing people in the neck and fucking ripping their guts out every single morning. It's not like that, you know. It does get like that, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of people waiting to go home, making the best of things. Need it. So that's kind of the first story I was thinking about. I was thinking about this yesterday, but it's just catching the chain, man. And I wanted so much to kind of earn my stripes and to get that validation. And luckily, you know, through the years, right, all the people that I met along the way, thank God, I was schooled the right way. I could have went any fucking way. So just remember, let's kind of make this experience to, you know, what we all go through, like with influencers and, you know, just anybody that we look up to. Just make sure we're looking up to the right people. Do your research. You want to make sure that the person that you're looking up to, you know, kind of has your best intentions in mind. That's even out here, right? So you gotta fucking maneuver yourself right. You gotta set yourself up with the right type of people. So that's episode 1. And that's it, right? I was just thinking about that little homie I was on the bus with, and you know, that was kind of my introduction to prison. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's gonna be many more to come. Whatever you gotta do to hear from me, right? Subscribe, turn on my post notifications, stay updated with the shit I'm gonna put out, because I'm gonna do this more often, and hopefully they'll get better, guys. Have a good day. Peace.